Listen to me. When I tell you this week's review is everything you've ever wanted in life, you're gonna say I'm a liar. You're gonna say this episode of Ready to... Let's go. So this is my lovely plant over here. This is my prop for this week. So you know, that's Sheila. She's here to catch the shade with me, okay? Let's begin, honey. Let's begin. Okay, so in this week's episode, the ladies, they go to Tommy's house. Nephew Tommy, sorry. They go to Tommy's house and they speak with him and his wife, Miss Jacqueline. She was wearing a little spiderweb thing, little spiderweb trousers that she was wearing. So this week is the ladies' turn. Obviously, ball is in their court, and they are gonna get to choose. So they're given the assignment. So this week, the ladies are given the assignment of introducing the guy that they're interested in to their ex-boyfriend. Which really and truly, in natural everyday life, that would never happen. You know what I mean? Like, well, your ex-boyfriend and the guy you're potentially gonna have as the next boyfriend, your ex and your next are gonna sit down and be sitting down talking about you, like, oh yeah, she's like this, and watch out for this and watch out for that. That's not happening. That's not happening. But anyways, this was the assignment. Personally, for me, I think the assignment's a bit whack. Like, the women had to meet their friends, but you're meeting her ex. What's that got to do with anything? But anyways, so that was the assignment. So now we get to Vanessa and Joel. So Joel goes to meet Vanessa and he meets Vanessa's ex-boyfriend called David. Now David was a looker, honey. He was looking nice, okay? David was looking nice, a little leather jacket and everything. He was looking very, very nice. They were sitting there chit-chatting and whatnot, and Joel basically asked Vanessa's ex if Vanessa is clingy. Vanessa's ex turned around and said, nah, she's not clingy, but there was a bit of a pause. There was a, no, she's not clingy. So I was like, yeah, she's clingy. She's clingy. Because you pause because you don't want to make her look bad, but you know she's clingy. So I mean, that whole question to me should let Vanessa know that Joel thinks you're clingy. So back up. But during that conversation, I found it really so interesting when apparently Joel and Vanessa were supposed to go out to eat. And he said he was doing something, whatever, and he was going to hit her up when he's done. Then he never hit her up. He never said anything, and he just sort of kind of like just didn't communicate with her. Then when it came up in this conversation, he basically said, well, obviously if I didn't say anything, it means that the plans have been cancelled. Excuse me, skirt. The plans are cancelled when you say the plans are cancelled, because a man of integrity would let you know that, listen, we can't go, I can't come, we cannot do this. What that was speaking to me was that Joel is trying to show Vanessa subtly that he's not that into her, but she's not picking it up, okay? Which is going to cause her to be her. She's not picking up the fact that he's not that into her, okay? And it's sad for Vanessa, because really and truly, Vanessa's out of Joel's league, honey, okay? Because Joel, I said it before, Joel's giving off Troy vibes, and it's come out that Joel was there, you know, when he was talking about his ex-wife, you know, that passed away and whatnot, and he was talking about her like, oh, his wife passed away. That he made it seem like when him and her were together, she passed away, but it actually came out that she passed away, they were already broken up. Okay, but he made it seem like they were actually still together and his wife passed away. She was already his ex-wife when she passed away. So Joel, I mean, I don't know why he tried to, like, that little bit of information, I don't know why he kind of withheld it, because it makes him look a bit deceitful. That whole interaction, I felt bad for Vanessa, because she's not picking up the signals that Joel's not that into you. And Joel was clicking with her ex-boyfriend more than he was clicking with her. There's no way you're clicking with my ex-boyfriend more than you're clicking with me. Are you mad? Or do you lot want a date now? What's going on? I'm not here for it. And him not communicating that. He's making plans with you, then changes the plans but doesn't tell you and expects you to just be like, well, clearly I'm not coming to see you, or it's because I didn't have my phone on me. It's not because he didn't have his phone on him. Everybody has their phone on them constantly. We live on our phones. We do everything on our phones. We bank on our phones. We communicate on our phones. Everything, like, come on. So for him to do that, he's just saying he's not that into her, and Venetia needs to keep it pushing. Okay, sis, keep it pushing, because Joel ain't a catch. Okay, so the next one is Alexis introduces Ron to her ex-boyfriend that she met before the father of her son, before she met her husband, her ex-husband. So this is the ex kind of guy. So they're sitting there he's sitting there giving him advice on Alexis and whatnot. And Ron, I think Ron is very, do you know what it is? Ron, he doesn't know how he comes across. And I remember like the early episodes, remember when he almost got voted out when he was in the bottom because he was saying some things that some of the women considered it to be a bit misogynistic. He doesn't know how he comes across, and in this interaction it was clear that Ron doesn't know how he comes across, and that he comes across like a real asshole. So with the whole situation, so what happened? Okay, so Alexis realized that her and Ron are not spiritually compatible. Alexis wants a pastor. She wants a man of God. She wants a prophet in the house. She wants somebody to pray with and to lay hands on her, rebuke the devil. Ron ain't that guy. Ron has never been that guy. So I don't understand why she's been on Ron this whole entire time. If the kind of man she was looking for is the kind of man who has a spiritual foundation and he's a Christian and he loves the Lord and he reads his Bible. Like, Ron's been saying that he's not into that. He's been saying that he's just, that's not his cup of tea. So Alexis has been wanting this, and it's like, why did you choose Ron? That's what I'm like super confused about that. So in this interaction, she finally realizes how incompatible her and Ron are. They are not compatible, not in the least bit. In fact, what really came to light was that Ron is really compatible with Chrysanthemum, who was voted off last week. He's really not compatible with Alexis, and he was there making her number one. Now look at you. Now look at you. So now in this next scene, the ladies go to get a little mani-pedi, and it's a whole little cute scene now. I mean, I love the little scene, I'm not gonna lie to you. And you know, they were getting cocktails made of the guys that they're interested in. Liz made a David, and Kyra made a Jason. The fact that Kyra is choosing Jason over AJ. Let me tell you something. AJ may have his issues, but I mean, maybe he's arrogant, maybe he's full of himself, but he's gone out of his way for Kyra. Like the dates that he set up with Kyra and whatnot. And to me, it's just like, listen, the things that AJ has done, and just the way AJ just looks as well on top of it, there's no way I would choose Jason over AJ. As arrogant as AJ is, I will still choose his arrogance over Jason. I would choose his arrogance over Jason any day of the week, honey. Anyways, they're sitting and having a little conversation, and then like it came to light that, you know, there's a little competition between Kyra and Liz, little friendly competition between them over Jason. I'm like, I know you lot ain't fighting over Jason. Let me not knock down my thing. I know you lot ain't fighting over Jason. Lord have mercy on us all, because that's not a fight that I would willingly enter into. Not today, not any day, no way. Listen to me. This next scene was the whole episode. It was the whole episode. Like this episode could have ended at this scene and it would have been fine. Listen to me. So Liz invites her ex-boyfriend Clarence. He just looks like a pastor. He had his gold chain on and everything. Clarence, he's her ex from, he didn't really say when he was her ex. He just said from long time ago. Long time ago, when is long time ago? Because my long time ago could be 20 years ago, but your long time ago could be 20 days ago. So which one is long time ago? Anyways, she said that was her ex from long time ago, but she didn't quantify the long time ago. Is it long time ago 2002, or was it long time ago 2018? Because I did realize that Clarence had a wedding ring on, so maybe he didn't want to say, look, no, because, you know, his wife is going to be watching the show. But anyways, so Liz's friend, and she said he's like a big brother to her, and this and that. I was like, yeah, the energy between you two ain't giving brother and sister energy, honey. So you can tell yourself that, but we don't believe it. You can sell it, but we ain't buying it. So Clarence was there, and he was absolutely gorgeous. He was a good looking man. Let me say something. See, one of the reasons why I want to move to America is because when I keep seeing these good looking black men, I'm like, we don't have that around here. There's a shortage. Okay? There's a shortage. There's a famine. But you see all these black American men, they look so good. Apart from Jason. They look so good. Apart from Ron. They look so good. Anyways, let's go back to this. So Liz introduces, so Clarence and Liz are sitting there talking, right? So she's giving him the 411 about David. She's telling him, like, listen, because this is what we didn't know. So when last week, when David introduced Liz to his friends, Liz said before they started shooting, she was saying this to Clarence, that, you know, David blurted in front of his friends, like, oh, did you just come from a date with Jason? Did you kiss him again or something like that? And it really embarrassed her, you know. So she told Clarence that, like, this is what he did. And you could say Clarence's face, he changed. And he was in defense mode for Liz. And I loved it. I was here for it. I loved it. So when David came, he was unsure, like, what's this man doing here? And this and that. Already you could tell David is insecure. He's insecure around other men who could take his spot. You understand? He's insecure. Clarence was there. Lord have mercy. Clarence is so good looking. Lord have mercy. Anyways, so, you know, he didn't really like the setup, even though it wasn't Liz's setup. It was production setup. They're having a conversation, and listen to me. When I'm telling you, Clarence was holding David's feet to the fire. Clarence was holding David's feet to the fire, and David couldn't handle the heat. He couldn't handle the heat. He couldn't handle the heat. Clarence basically checks David for mentioning the kiss to the other people. And even, I think at one point, David even asked Clarence, when did you guys last date? Like, when are you talking about? When did you guys last date? And they're like, long time ago, long time ago, long time ago, long time ago. It's like, you haven't made nothing official with this woman at the end of the day. So until you do that, you can't be asking certain questions. It's none of your business. It's none of your business. Considering, let me not say nothing. There was one bit, listen to me, you know, because it was getting real intense, and Clarence had his foot on David's neck. And then David said something about, can we lower the temperature a little bit, because it's a little bit too intense right now, and this and that. Basically, he can't handle Clarence's questioning. That's what he was basically saying. You know, it's a little bit too strong or something like that. And then Clarence turned around and said, I'm alpha. I don't know how to be weak. When I'm telling you, I had to get up from my seat and take a walk. Like, I have never heard a man say that with such class. I was like, who are you? I was here for it. The way David embarrassed Liz last week, he needed a Clarence to come step in for her, to let him know that, listen, this isn't a woman that you mess around with. She's got a village behind her. She's got people behind her. You can't just walk all over her, you know. You can't treat her anyhow, disrespect her. We're not gonna allow that. For him to step up for her like that, I salute Clarence. Everybody needs a Clarence in their life. Clarence, I need you in my life. I think during that interaction, Liz finally starts to see David in a different light. David was always her number one, and she doesn't see him the same, and he is no longer the same person to her, and she sees how insecure he is and how emotionally unavailable he is to her as well. And he said a whole bunch of nothing. Like, he was saying a whole bunch of words, but it was just like, what are you saying? It's not making any sense. So I think she started to realize that he's quite deceitful with his words. And it's sad though, because I was rooting for David. I was rooting for him. And he did a little live recently, and he was there talking about the whole thing and how Kyra was this, and he was trying to get with Kyra. And it's like, yeah, of course he was trying to get with Kyra, but was Kyra trying to get with you? That's the question you should ask yourself. Okay, he's been going on this whole week of doing lives on his Instagram where he's just talking about, he's basically trying to save face. But I'm like, you're trying to save face because you know deep down you're guilty, because you keep talking about stuff, answering questions no one's asking, really and truly. You make yourself look worse. Usually, this is why people say when you're in trouble, your lawyer tells you don't say nothing because you incriminate yourself. And that's what David has been doing in the past week with all his lives on Instagram. So, anyways, let's move on. Clarence, may God bless you. Okay, so let's move on. So the next one is obviously Amber and KG. She introduces KG to her ex-boyfriend. The minute I saw him, I said, yeah, I know. I already know. I already knew because let me tell you something. My gaydar is always on point. Always on point. 100% right. So he is sitting there, KG sitting there. I think he felt a little bit insecure, like, who's this man? Like, what's going on? Then she introduces, you know, the guy turns out, you know, he was gay and whatnot. And they're just like good friends now, like good girlfriends now. And then KG says he wants a bunch of kids. And then Amber's like, you've never said this before. I'm like, Amber, he's never said this before? Because all you don't ever do is sit down and talk in these dates. Because he ain't taking you nowhere fancy. This date was the first day I saw KG eat. Because he keeps taking you to do yoga outside in someone's garden. Taking you for a walk. Those are the kind of dates KG takes Amber. But all of a sudden now, when it's her date, she's buying food for him anyways. And now she's finding out that he wants a bunch of kids. And it's like, so what you not been talking about this whole... Would you not have talked about kids? I would have thought you would have brought up the... Like, all you lot do is just trauma bond. It's like your dad left, his dad left, someone's dad left, that person's dad. It's like, oh my goodness. That was really surprising, especially because KG said he doesn't want to get married, but he wants to have kids. But then Amber came out and said she wants to have kids more than get married. And I'm not going to lie to you. To me personally, I think that's a red flag. Because a woman who wants to have kids more than get married is basically saying she'll have kids with anyone. She will have kids with anyone because her goal is to have kids. And I've heard a few women who say that, you know, if they reach a certain age and they haven't met that right guy, they would just have kids with whoever. Because whoever they're sleeping with at that time, they're just going to pop a kid out for him. I've heard women say that. So when Amber said she wants to have children more than she wants to get married, I was like, yeah, that doesn't sound good. Because that just sounds like you would have kids with any man that will inseminate you. Like, that doesn't sound cool. So that was weird. That was very, very strange. Then we move on to Karla and Jason. So Karla takes Jason on a date to meet her ex-boyfriend via TV, because I guess he's wherever he's at. She even feeds this man, honey. She feeds him. I was like, I don't know why you keep feeding this Jason. Stop feeding this man. He won't go home. Anyways, so she gives him food, whatever. They're sitting there talking, and her ex-boyfriend is there. I mean, her ex-boyfriend was very different. He looks nothing like Jason. He looks nothing like AJ. Very, very different. I was like, okay. So they're sitting there talking, and he brings up the fact that apparently Karla is not very good with money. I thought that was very surprising because Karla is an attorney, so I would have thought, girl, you don't know, you manage your books properly, this, that, and the third. But it turns out Karla's not that good with money, and he brings that up. Then Jason, the audacity of this person, brings it up in the confessions. It's like, oh, I don't know how I feel about that if she's not good with money. I'm like, you know what? only broke men are worried about a woman's money. Because you know what? Jason, he's looking for a free meal. He's looking for a free ticket from Karla. He's looking for money and coochie. Because there's no way you're like, oh, I don't know how she is with money. Is it she's splurging? If she's splurging, it's because she's making the money to splurge, honey. Okay, she's an attorney. So she's probably making 6 figures. Let her splurge. She's going to splurge anyways. She's got no kids. Why not splurge? When you have kids, that's a different story. So for Jason to be sitting there like, oh my God, it's because you're not on the same income bracket as her. Okay, because Jason, you teach basketball. Okay, and not at an NBA level. You're teaching elementary school kids basketball. No tea, no shade, but that's not attorney money right there. That's not attorney money. Anyways, when Jason said that, I looked at him sideways like, a man who has money isn't worried about a woman's check. He's not worried about your check. Not at all. So in this next one, AJ asks Alexis out on a date. When AJ was explaining why he asked Alexis out on a date, so he was saying that, you know, after everything between him and Karla, and then finding out that Karla and Jason kissed, and Jason did that to be messy when he said that. When in the last episode he was there like, me and Karla, we got a connection, we kissed, and I'm not talking about pecs. Like, why are you over here opening up your gums, flapping up your gums, talking about these kind of things? I don't understand when men do that kind of stuff. So what you want? You want somebody to pat you on the back because Karla kissed you? What you want? You want an Academy Award? You want a Golden Globe? You want a star? What you want? Because I don't understand why Jason said that. And obviously he was doing that to be messy, because then now AJ asks Alexis out on a date because he feels some kind of way about Karla. It's like a revenge date, you know, so tit for tat. This show has really showed me that men are so tit for tat. So tit for tat. So David is acting crazy with Liz because Jason kissed her, and now AJ is acting different with Karla because Jason kissed her. Anyways, they go on this date, and it's the most awkward date I've ever seen. It's more awkward than KG and Amber's cheap date. Real awkward, honey. Alexis, she's over here chat. Alexis is like, oh yeah, you know, from the first time I met him, like she's telling AJ this. Oh, that he gives her butterflies and this, that, and the third, and she can see herself falling in love with him. Like, first of all, you never tell a man you see yourself fall in love with him if he has not put a ring on your finger, he has not made you his girlfriend, you guys are nothing, you have nothing solid. You never tell a man that you can see yourself falling in love with him, because what you're telling him is that he doesn't need to try, he's already got you. So when she did that, I was like, for somebody like AJ who looks like he's very versed in women, in womenology, yeah, you just giving them a green, because he, in that moment, it was clear that AJ could take Alexis home that same night and he would smash. Because she was hungry for some AJ, honey. And then they shared a little kiss, and it was the most awkward, most uncomfortable kiss. Oh my God. It was worse than Jason's kiss to Liz. It was like AJ was not trying to kiss her. He was, and that whole date was a revenge date. It was a revenge date. He wasn't on that date because he's genuinely interested in Alexis. He's trying to grasp at straws like, yo, so Kyra's over here making connection with Jason, even though I've poured my heart out to her. Okay, I'm gonna go see what Liz is saying, because remember, Liz was the one that was laying on thick and she was coming on to him real strong and he wasn't feeling her. AJ ain't been feeling Liz from time he's seen her in her little, you know, sequins and pearls and whatnot. He hasn't been feeling her, and the reason why she's super pressed on him is because he's rejecting her subtly. You know, that subtle rejection makes the other person want you more. So this whole situation is real stupid, okay? And that kiss was so dumb, and Jason was over there like, oh my God, wow, just out here being a damn dog barking in the heat. Like, get out, go outside. Jason gets on my nerves. Every time I see Jason on the screen, I'm like, move this man from the screen, man. Got my damn nerves. He was over there barking, there with Liz. Like, Liz, you need to get help too, okay? I know I own this there with this guy, this boy. That kiss was so forced. It was so uncomfortable to watch. And then, you know, her little hat came on. She was like, oh, okay. I'm like, sis, listen. When he was over there, when he took Kyra out on that private date, and he was kissing her all over her face and that, like, honey, them kisses were way better than that little kiss that you got from AJ. So don't think that it's something. Lord have mercy. Okay. So the ladies head back to Tommy's house, and they sit down with Tommy and his wife, Miss Jacqueline, to basically discuss how the dates have gone on and whatnot. Alexis sits there and she kind of pulls her heart out, and she really starts to talk about how she really wants a man who's a Christian, who's spiritual and things like that, which is kind of surprising to me, because I'm like, Alexis, you've gone through this whole process and you've never really made an emphasis on that, ever. You know, you've never made, like, Liz has always been, oh, you know, I want a man of God and I'm abstaining and stuff like that. It's like, Alexis, you've never made these proclamations that you want a man who's a Christian and that's fundamental for you. It's like, if that was fundamental for you, you would have never chosen Ron from the jump, because Ron from the jump has said, that's not him. He's not out here praying for this, that, and the third. You can pray. He's going to be out there doing his own thing. And that's just him. Okay? Everybody has their time when the Lord will call you. Okay? And you will answer that calling. But, like, Ron is out there. When his time comes, he will recognize. So, yeah, I mean, she has a whole moment and she kind of breaks down and she's a bit vulnerable. And I like that scene because it was just like, it made her look more approachable. Because, you know, Alexis, to me, she just comes across like she's just full of crap. Okay, so in that moment I was like, you've actually humanized yourself, that you're not this like, I'm Alexis Fly and I brings the fly. It's just like, you're Alexis and you're a woman and you want love and you want a family and you want somebody who's a Christian, spiritual head and all that stuff. And I thought that was nice, but it's like, show that side instead of all these sequins and twirls and whatever else you be doing. Okay, these moments you be having with these fashions, these fashion moments. So yes, you know, Nephew Tommy really gives her some advice. I thought the advice him and his wife gave her was so sound. Like, listen, this is what we did when we got here, and then, you know, if that's what you want, you have to make that decision that this is what I want. And if the person doesn't fit into that category, like, I want a man who's a Christian who prays, and Ron is not a Christian and he doesn't pray, why do you want him? And I honestly think that Alexis wanted Ron because Ron wanted her, and it becomes clearer near the end, at the end of the episode, that she chose Ron because Ron chose her, because there's an insecurity there. And that's why she's so like, I'm Alexis Fly, I brings the fly, I'm so fly. And it's like, you're just about okay with these fashions, because sometimes it's a hit, sometimes it's a miss. But yeah, now it makes sense, her behavior, you know, like there's some insecurities there and not being chosen, and maybe like her ex-husband cheating on her, so that's like him choosing other women over her, especially because he was a man of God and he was a pastor, and maybe that made her feel a certain way, you know. There's a whole bunch of things there to unfold. But yeah, so as they're talking, whatever, you know, Nephew Tommy asks them, who would you choose? You know, who are you gonna choose? Kyra turns around and says, Jason. Liz turns around and says, Jason. Renisha obviously says Joel. And Amber says Chris, KG, you know, that's who she's chosen. She's chosen KG. Then, oh, this bit gets juicy, honey. This bit gets juicy. Get my drink. Amber, no, sorry, not Amber. What's her name? Alexis now sits down and starts talking about the whole date that she had with AJ, and she's there like, oh, this happened. One thing about Alexis is that she exaggerates, because the way she explained that date and the way the date looked, it was like, Yeah, it wasn't that romantic, sis. Okay, you making it seem like he flew you out to Paris and wine and dined you. He asked you out on a date because Kyra is not, he realized that he's not Kyra's #1 anymore. That's why you're a rebound date, first of all, because if he was that interested in you, he would have been showing you interest in these weeks. Like, you and AJ ain't even been chilling. The past 3 episodes, you ain't been chilling together, so maybe even more. Maybe the past 3 episodes. So, I mean, she explained that thing to make it seem like it was more than it was. But I think it's because Alexis is she's also petty. She's down with the pettiness. And she wants to be like, yeah, I got your man. I got your man. You know, she wants to do that as well, the tit for tat. It's overdone. Okay, it was not that deep. That date was not that deep. And obviously, I know Kyra's a little bit pressed because although she wants to choose Jason, she knows that she still has feelings for AJ. As she should, because he looks good. Okay, so this is the last bit. So David and Ron are in the bottom. Ron meets Alexis and they're having this intense conversation, honey. So Alexis tells Ron that she's not feeling his ways when he was being very judgy towards Christians. And he was, in a way, you know, like when people say Christians are judgmental, but it's like when you say that, that's you being judgmental towards Christians, which makes you a hypocrite. But that's not my business. So, you know, she talks to him about that and whatnot, and then he's there talking about, oh, I'm on my divine masculine. It's like, what are you talking about? Can you imagine a man saying to you, I'm in my divine masculine? Okay, sis. Okay. And she actually says, oh, you know, I chose you because you chose me. And he said, that means you're looking for external validation. I'm not here to validate you. You should validate yourself. He starts to check her. And Alexis is like, oh. In that moment, their exchange there, it was so clear that Ron and Alexis have never been compatible. Never. This whole entire time, she was busy trying to compete with Chrysanthemum to win over Ron. But she didn't even realize that Ron ain't nothing to win. Because he's not what you want. You should have let Chrysanthemum have this, man, because they're on the same energy, they're on the same tip. And there were times when Alexis was genuinely, she had no words. Like, she loved to talk, she had no words. I said, this is who you was going back and forth with Chrysanthemum over? Really? Really? You should have let Chrysanthemum have this, man. Then they cut to David and Liz, and they have this conversation, and they want to talk about what's happened. I find this part to be so annoying because this is a teaser that they had from last week that they were going to show this week. Then they leave it to the end of the episode, and they don't show us the whole argument between David and Liz. They then tell us to wait until next week. It's like, why did you put it in last week's episode as if it's going to be in this week? But it's not going to be in this week, it's going to be in the following week. I hate when production companies do that. It's like, what the hell are you doing? We're already captivated on the show, but don't do the mostest. It's so stupid. So we don't even get to see the argument between David and Liz. We just see a snippet of it, the same snippet we saw last week. We don't really see much of it. And it's just them arguing about who should go first. And David wants to go first, and Liz is being super concerned and saying, you're a gentleman, right? You would let me go first. See, I like Liz, but Liz, you know, she's showing that she could be passive aggressive, because what she was doing there, that was hella passive aggressive. And to a man as emotionally unstable as David, I don't know if I would do that, because he doesn't have that stability. Because another man would have just been like, okay, go ahead, just to shut you up. I'll just be like, go, speak, as soon as you want to talk so damn much. But you know, David wants to put his point across because he wants to, you know, prove his point, because I think he wants to prove his point just to paint the picture to favor him. And that's what he's been doing this week with his lives, that he's been going on and 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 on. He even put Kyra in one of his lives to be like, yeah, so are you saying that production? But it's like, you went on a reality show about dating and you're surprised that production manipulates the scenes? Are you on drugs? It's like, everybody knows reality shows are manipulated. Who thinks, do you think you're walking around with a vlog camera? It's like, come on. even the YouTube vlogs are manipulated. What makes you think that a whole damn production, a whole damn, you know, camera crew, sound guy, producer, this and that, you think they're not gonna manipulate it to make it look more juicy than it is? They need to get paid. They need to get paid. It's like David doing all the most on this, and it's like, what are you trying to prove, and who are you trying to prove it to? Because if you're trying to prove it to random people on the internet, it's ridiculous. Okay, it's ridiculous. And the people in your life should know who you are, so you don't need to prove anything to them. So doing all these lies, and you're there talking about this, that, and the third. Oh, I went on a date with Kara. They didn't show the dates with Kara. They didn't show the dates with Kara because maybe they were boring. They didn't show the dates with Kara because really and truly at the end of it, you and Kara didn't have a connection, so there's no point putting all these dates with you and Kara, because in the end she's gonna be choosing David and AJ, and it's like, you don't, sorry, Jason and AJ, so you don't even come into mind, David. So it's like, why are they gonna keep showing you and Kara if at the end of the day you are not part of the two people she wants to choose? I mean, there's a lot to it. To me, David has just come across like he's very emotionally unstable, and I pray that he gets all the help that he needs. But really and truly, I hope that he learns that he should not be on a reality show, because you're not for reality shows. You think reality show actually means real. No, they mean entertainment. Okay, we're here to be entertained by you dating these different women and them dating these different men. Okay, if you really thought you was gonna go on this show to find the love of your life, you crazy. Okay, you're crazy. Okay, watch the past episodes. How many of them are married? None. Like my video, subscribe to this channel. And share this with all your friends. Tune in next week, and we're definitely gonna unpack that next video for next week. Because I really want to hear what Liz has to say to David, because he needs to be put in check. Like Clarence checked him. Okay? Until next time, be beautiful from the inside out, and make sure to subscribe and like. Cheers!